Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. SB 1032 prohibits winery-funded instant redeemable coupons, also known as IRCs, on wine purchases, as well as cross-merchandising coupons.
Senator, 1 second. Just for the record, this is item 4, SB 1032. Senator Galgiani, you may begin.
Thank you. As well as cross-merchandising coupons where a consumer purchases a bottle of wine and receives a discount off of food and non-food items like flowers. What is an instant redeemable coupon? There are coupons such as tear-off pads or neck hangers on a bottle of wine, as well as electronic forms including scan backs. These coupons are instantly redeemed at the supermarket's cash register. The bill's co-sponsors, the Wine Institute, Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of California, and Southern Wine and Spirits, believe that the evolution of instant redeemable coupons has led to a number of adverse impacts, which they will outline in their testimony next. Please note, SB 1032 does not ban all coupons or consumer discounts. For example, it does not ban winery-funded mail-in coupons. The bill does not stop retailers from offering their customers any coupons or discounts, like the buy 6 bottles and save an additional 10% promotion, as long as the retailer pays for it. Also, my bill clearly states that wineries can continue to offer discounts in their tasting rooms to their wine club members or for purchases made over the internet. It was only 2 years ago that a very similar bill, AB 1928 by Assemblymember Bocanegra, passed the legislature with only one no vote that banned brewery-funded instant redeemable coupons. So the precedent has been set. Lastly, Business and Professions Code Section 25503 prohibits a supplier from, quote, giving anything of value directly or indirectly to a retailer. Since IRCs really benefit the retailer's sales and promotion activity, my bill provides regulatory certainty that winery-funded instant redeemable coupons are prohibited. Again, SB 1032 is co-sponsored by the Wine Institute, Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of California, and Southern Wine and Spirits. The Family Winemakers of California also support the bill. We ask for your aye vote. I have alongside with me co-sponsors Mike Velasco from the Wine Institute, Manny Espinosa from Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of California, and Terry Flanagan representing Southern Wine and Spirits.
Great. Which would you like to, Mr. Mike, would you like to start first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. Be brief. As the senator said, the evolution of IRCs has had some adverse impacts in the marketplace. There's an imbalance between small and medium and large size wineries. The small and medium sized wineries can't afford to put $1 or $2 on a bottle of wine, which is the impact of a instant redeemable coupon. The small and independent retailers don't offer these types of programs. They may not even have the scanning capability in their stores, nor do they have loyalty cards that the larger chains do have. The other issue I'd like to raise is that we are concerned that with IRCs that there have been some couponing programs in the marketplace that, you know, you buy 4 or 5 bottles of wine and you save $25 or $30 off your groceries. We don't really like to market a product in the value of buy more, get more. So those are some of the adverse impacts that the IRCs have.
Good. Thank you for your testimony. Next.
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, I'm Manny Espinosa with the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of California. I'd just like to agree with Mike's statements on what we feel about this bill, but one of the concerns that I have, you know, as a former regulator, is the IRCs don't provide us with the regulatory certainty that we need to feel comfortable that we could withstand an audit of the coupon redemption payments. So that gives us some concern. There's no transparency, and we're just not comfortable with it. And you know, the other issue that I had when I was a regulator is that, you know, the small chains came to me and they complained about the fact they couldn't get in the game because they didn't have the scan equipment that was required to redeem, these coupons by just scanning them through the system. So what happened was it provided these programs by default just to the large chains. And our concern at both then and now is does that result in these coupons being something that discriminates against the small retailers? So we're concerned about that too.
Very good. Mr. Flanagan.
Mr. Chairman, how are you doing? Terry Flanagan, representing Southern Wine and Spirit
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Southern Wine and Spirit Wholesalers, and we are co-sponsors of the bill in support. I think that Mr. Espinosa and Mr. Velasco have articulated pretty well what our interest is in it.
Thank you. Would you agree with the same?
I would. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. John Ballesteros with Family Winemakers of California. I want to thank the senator and the sponsors for working with us on some initial concerns, and we're happy to support the bill in its current form.
Very good. Thank you for your testimony.
John Lovell, on behalf of the California College and University Police Chiefs Association and California Association of Code Enforcement Officers, we support this bill. We would make particular note of Mr. Velasco's reference to the potential for these programs being abused and resulting in buy 10 bottles, get, X number of groceries or things like that. For us, that kind of abuse constitutes encouragement to drink and consume, and that's a big issue with us. We strongly support the bill.
Any other witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Carrie Askew Bailey with the California Grocers Association. We are here in opposition to the bill. We also opposed the Boca Negra bill a couple years ago, and I think in the intervening time have actually identified some deficiencies, and we think consumers are losing out with regard to that legislation. And so we would just encourage you, it was not good legislation in the first instance, and so we would urge you to not expand to a new group of products.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. Latimer.
Mr. Chairman and members, John Latimer on behalf of the California retailers. We also are in opposition to the bill. We certainly understand and are more than willing to work with our supplier partners on ways to improve the transparency, accountability, the mechanisms around redeeming coupons. We do think it's not helpful to take a tool out of the toolbox for both the suppliers and the retailers and take something that is clearly of value to consumers, because these are redeemed during a transaction. So it's a very immediate sort of return on the marketing dollar, if you will. A transaction happens. So we don't think it's a good idea to take this away. I would say, with respect to Mr. Velasco's comments, we certainly do think, discounts occurring attached to a multiple purchase. We're not certainly encouraging the consumption of all 6 of those bottles of wine at the same time, but it is a wise way that consumers shop. They look for value. They look for discounts. I think it is noteworthy that in the bill, the industry, the suppliers have decided to maintain the coupons for their own sales online or at the winery. That's a good idea. We think that's a good idea. We just think we should extend that same privilege to other wineries who may want to use these in conjunction with their retail partners. So for those reasons, we have to regretfully oppose. Thank you for your testimony. Any other witnesses in opposition? Questions, comments, concerns from the members? Senator Gaines.
Maybe of Mr. Latimer, in terms of the application of coupon it sounded like from the earlier testimony, there was unequal application of a coupon. So if you were a small retailer and you didn't have the scanning equipment, you wouldn't be able to offer it. That would put you at a competitive disadvantage. Can you expand on that? Because it seems like that's a real issue in my mind.
It is an issue. I think, Senator, the coupons today are offered both in paper form and electronic form. And to the one issue that is often talked about in reforming coupons, paper is seen as something that is easily counterfeited or frankly lost, made difficult to read and understand the person's writing that they filled out, how to get the redemption done. And so paper coupons have fallen out of favor, and they're also labor intensive and difficult to do. And there has been a migration, although not complete, within the, and not just around alcohol, but this would apply to many, many products, to do those coupons electronically. So then basically the consumer knows what's on sale, what the coupon discount is, brings the product up, and immediately as part of the scan transaction, they receive their discount. It is true that some grocers don't have that type of point of sale technology. It is rapidly becoming a very, very, very small percentage of retailers because it's an efficiency that's now permeated the marketplace. I certainly wouldn't say there are no grocers out there. There are definitely grocers out there that don't have that point of sale technology. We are not suggesting that we eliminate paper. In other words, people could have more than one option, but we are certainly, and it's been brought up by the proponents of this bill, paper is a problem. On the one hand, paper is a problem because it leads for a more difficult, costly audit trail and more counterfeit. We would just pose that the overwhelming majority of retail is going to point of sale technology, and therefore scanning and auditing that scan trail is much easier today than it was some years ago. I think very quickly, look forward 10 years, and I don't think you're going to see any retailer out there without point of sale technology. There are so many things the state now requires on their own that we have to keep track of. Point of sale technology recording those costs are now becoming an operational necessity for all retailers. CRV, fees for, recycle products, et cetera, that technology is necessary almost everywhere.
Is that expensive for a?
It's difficult. It certainly is difficult. Now, it comes with efficiencies as well, right? As a practical matter, you're not sending people, as we all grew up watching people go up and down the aisles, posting with their sticker gun, posting and then changing and setting sale prices. So there's efficiencies that go with it, but there's an upfront cost associated with it, no question.
Tracks your inventory, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, concerns from the members? Senator Galgiani, would you like to close?
I'd like to get back to the real main reason for this bill, and that is that the wineries sell their product to the wholesaler, who then owns the wine, and then the wholesaler provides the wine to the retailer. The retailer then requires the winery to be part of the retailer's promotional and to come up with the difference and yet another discount that they hadn't chosen to be part of. So this gets at that issue. It does not ban all coupons. It does not ban mail-in coupons or coupons that a winery initiates, but rather this is recognizing the fact that the winery has already sold their product to the wholesaler, who then has sold it to the retailer. The winery should not be on the hook for coming up with another discount. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the bill? The bill has been moved by Senator Hernandez. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass and re-refer to appropriations. Hall?
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill? Aye. Berryhill, aye. Block? Gaines? Aye. Gaines, aye. Galgiani?
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Glazer? Hernandez? Hernandez, aye. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Hueso?
Aye.
Hueso, aye. Lara? Aye. Lara, aye. McGuire? Runner? Vidak?
Aye.
Vidak, aye.
That bill currently has 9 ayes. We'll keep the roll open for the absent members.
Thank you.
All right, would you like to present item 12, SB 1176?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. SB 1176 updates the average annual gross receipts limit California small and micro businesses must observe as a condition to participate in certain state procurement programs. The measure increases the 3-year average annual gross receipts limit requirement from its current level of $14 million to $30 million for small businesses and $2.5 million to $5 million for micro businesses. SB 1176 also requires the Director of General Services to biannually adjust the income limits based on the California Consumer Price Index. The limits have not been adjusted for 7 years, since late 2009. The proposed adjustment takes into consideration inflation, the benefits of increased competition as more small businesses become eligible for state contracting preferences, and the recognition that with the state engaging in massive, costly, and technically challenging construction projects, such as dams and water quality systems, to name just a few, the current revenue limit may disqualify many relatively small businesses after they receive their first substantial subcontract. For example, while the bill was not received any opposition, I have heard from some organizations informally who have shared some concerns regarding the increase to $30 million in gross receipts, especially with regard to state procurement contracts. For construction companies, companies with $30 million in gross receipts and 100 or fewer employees, these companies are still considered relatively small businesses in the construction industry, especially when construction projects are in the billions of dollar range. But for businesses selling goods and services, office supplies, or janitorial services, the proposed increase may invite relative large companies to compete. I've heard their concerns, and I am proposing to amend SB 1176 by raising the gross receipt limit to $30 million and 200 employees for public work projects only, and only raise the limit on all other contracting to $15 million. Micro businesses will not be affected. They will continue to go from $2.5 million to $5 million in gross receipts under SB 1176. This means with the proposed amendments that on public works projects, specifically construction projects, if your gross receipts are $30 million or less and you have less than 200 employees, you're still considered a small business. For any other contracting, especially goods and services, to be considered a small business, your gross receipts cannot exceed $15 million and 100 employees. I think it's a fair compromise, since the original focus of my measure was on construction projects and companies that were relatively small in the construction world. These amendments were recently sent to Legislative Council and are not available in time for this committee hearing. However, I want to make the committee aware of the direction I wanted to take this measure, and again, these are author amendments. I thank you for consideration, and today I have with me someone here to testify.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Diane Gonzalez-Cibrian, and I'm here today in support of SB 1176, representing Gene Hale, who is the chairman of the Greater Los Angeles African American Chamber of Commerce. And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Hale apologizes he's not here with you today. He actually has the flu, but he wanted to extend his thanks for your continued leadership. And we would like to thank Senator Galgiani and Senator Wesso for proposing SB 1176. Currently, there are restrictive hurdles that are stifling small businesses in California. Legislative action defining the size standard was last enacted 17 years ago. And the California state departments are having trouble meeting their small business goals. DGS has already predicted that they will not be able to meet the goal for this year. We know that there are almost $1 billion in public works projects being developed in the state, and it's important that there is a sufficient pool of small businesses available to meet the mandate for the state. Today, we also have, in support of the legislation, chambers of commerce from throughout the state, including the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the 800,000 Hispanic small business that they represent, the Los Angeles County Business Federation, and the 150 leading business groups and 275,000 employers throughout Los Angeles County, the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce, among others, supporting SB 1176. We believe that this bill will go a long way to enable the state to meet the executive order mandating the 25% contracting goal. We believe that small businesses will be assisted in this greatly. We also know that and believe it does not affect small businesses, because small businesses, micro smalls, fall under the threshold of 5 million or less. So this bill only affects businesses between 14 million and 30 million. And so we know that those businesses are eager to participate in contracting opportunities throughout the state of California, and we ask the committee to please vote favorably.
Thank you. Thank you. Any witnesses, any other, you're in support, correct?
Yes, we have not officially been supporting, but we've been working with the senator and her staff and appreciate the amendments that she spoke of in her testimony. Those are amendments that we did discuss with her office, and we appreciate that. We look forward to putting our letter of support in for the California Asian Pacific Chamber of Commerce.
Very good. Thank you for your testimony. Any other witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Questions, comments, concerns from the members? Yes, Senator Hueso.
I'm proud to be a co-author on this bill. I want to
you.
thank the Senator for working on this issue. If there are no questions or comments from the committee, I'd like to move the bill.
Before the bill is moved, we were discussing some amendments to the bill. You were trying to move the threshold to 30 million. I suggested 20, but I think we came to an agreement of 25, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we want to make sure that the secretary notes that amendment, and we will modify the bill moving forward with those amendments. That being said, are you still?
I'll move the bill with the amendment.
Perfect. The bill has been properly moved with the amendments. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass as amended and re-refer to appropriations. Hall.
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Aye. Berryhill, aye. Block. Gaines. Aye. Gaines, aye. Galgiani.
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Glazer. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Hill. Aye. Hill, aye. Hueso. Aye. Hueso, aye. Lara. McGuire. Runner. Vidak. Aye. Vidak, aye.
Okay, 8-0. We'll keep the roll open for absent members. Senator Berryhill, are you ready on item 6? All right, item 6, SB 1118 by Senator Berryhill. Just 1 second, Senator. All right, so for the record, and note, item 2, SB 949, Senator Jackson is off calendar. Item number 15, SB 1252 by Morlock is off calendar. And item 17, SB 1132, Wykowski, 1312, Wykowski is also off calendar. Senator Berryhill, on item 6, SB 1118, you may begin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members, for the opportunity to present SB 1118 today. This bill is extremely important for Calaveras County, a rural county in my district that was devastated last fall by the Butte fire. The fire burned nearly 71,000 acres. Destroys hundreds of structures, and has been labeled the 7th most destructive wildfire to hit the state in its history. This bill will provide up to 100% state reimbursement to local governments in the county for the non-federal costs associated with that fire. Calaveras County is a rural, lightly populated county that does not have the resources necessary to cover its share of the costs. The county's share is an estimated $1.4 million. What makes this situation unique is not only are there costs associated with fire cleanup, the county is also tasked with addressing a major tree mortality issue that is catastrophic up in that neck of the woods. Up to 55 million trees in California are dead or dying as a result of the drought and bark beetle infestation and have to be removed for public safety reasons. This crisis, combined with a large fire cleanup, would be an overwhelming task for even the wealthiest counties in California. Members, as far too many of us know, California is no stranger to natural disasters. Many of our communities have been devastated by earthquakes, fires, floods, mudslides, and other issues. I am simply asking the same assistance we have granted in the past to some of these disasters be extended to the victims in my district. I want to thank you and ask for your aye vote on this SB 1118 with the author amendments, of course, noted in the committee analysis. I have with me today Brian Moss, Assistant County Administrative Officer, and Rebecca Collin, Calaveras County Auditor Controller, who will both speak to the particular statistics and scale of the need in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. You may begin.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity. As previously stated, the Butte Fire erupted in Amador County and burned into Calaveras County on the afternoon of September 9th, 2015, and was not contained until October 1st of 2015. We did have 2 fatalities in that fire. We lost over 965 structures, either damaged or destroyed, most of which were destroyed. This cataclysmic event occurred on the heels of the 2007 recession, for which the county has not fully recovered. Unlike some of the other counties in the state of California, being a rural county, we were just beginning to see a trend in development and in growth. And unfortunately, this came at a time just at that time where it's setting us back. As previously stated, absent any assistance as provided by the state, the county will incur over $1.4 million in costs, just in recovery costs, which will certainly make an impact on our general fund reserve of $2.4 million. You see, we don't have a lot of funding to work with. This is after both FEMA and California Disaster Assistance Act funding. Our cost share is at 6.25%. Although the Butte Fire is certainly out and has been since October 1st, Calaveras County is a source county for water for the state of California. Water is provided or is sent to the Valley, Stockton East, to the locals. It certainly supplies water to the East Bay mud, also affected by this. It burns through the watershed. It also affected even one of our, the Calaveras River watershed, which is a federal dam that sits on that watershed. So even that was affected. In addition to that, the loss of structures, property, roads, culverts, communications was very, very significant. During the height of the fire, we had 3 major towers. 2 of those went down. Out of the 2 of those, an individual went up to service one of the towers. He went up to the tower, realized he needed a bigger generator, went back to his house, and it was gone. Proceeded to order the generator and get it fixed anyway. But that is kind of the scope and the scale of what was happening. So essentially, this bill would not put Calaveras County ahead, but it would certainly help us to break even as far as the cost share. Again, we have a very, very small margin as far as what our cost is, the 6.25%, versus what we have in reserves. So with that said, we would like to thank Senator Berryhill and the committee for considering this bill.
Thank you for your testimony.
My name is Rebecca Callan. I'm Auditor Controller for Calaveras County. The passage of this amended bill is vital to the fiscal stability of Calaveras County throughout this recovery phase. Our general fund budget, just to give you the scope, is $43 million. We are a small rural county, just over 44,000 in population. So $1.4 million is roughly 3% of our operating budget. Because of the recession, we have seen a change in how we fund our programs, And that is, we've gone from having very little discretionary revenue, which is property taxes and sales tax, to relying on state and federal revenues that are extremely restricted. So we don't have discretionary revenue that we can utilize in order to fund this $1.4 million hole. So in order to do that, we would be forced to reduce services equal to that amount. And it's a direct correlation to some of our largest departments, which would be law enforcement, as well as some of our other essential service core functions for the constituents of Calaveras County. So if we aren't able to get this bill passage, we really risk the recovery entirely. And we also put the safety of our constituency in harm's way, because we just are not going to have the scope of services that we're going to need to have. We have a very small sales tax base. We have a very small transient occupancy tax base. Our largest discretionary revenue is property taxes, which we are estimating $500,000 to $600,000 annual loss because of the devastation in the burn area. And we have people that just are leaving just because, as the rest of the state was seeing a recovery, we were not. And we just started seeing a little bit of a recovery, a little bit of a flattening of the loss of property values, and then this happened. In the state of California, Calaveras County at one point was the #1 in the state for loss of assessed value. So that equated to anywhere between a 25% and 28% decrease of revenue for our state, or for our county, in discretionary revenue. So we are not in a great position when this fire occurred, and certainly the recovery has us all on our toes right now, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to pay for this. Right. So I thank Senator Berryhill for bringing this forward. I thank the committee for inviting us here today, and I look for your aye vote.
Thank you.
Hi, Darby Kernan with the California State Association of Counties, in support as well.
Thank you, Darby. Any other witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Questions, comments, concerns from the members? Senator Gaines.
Great. I just want to thank you, Senator Berryhill, for bringing this forward. And it sounds like a very similar situation to Senator McGuire with the Lake Fire that we heard in this committee not too long ago. And I don't know if you want to expand on that, or, but that's my angle.
Yeah, it's very similar to the lake. Lake was a little bit bigger, but that being said, with the drought and with the tree mortality rates up there, there's going to be more of this, not less, as we look forward. So these are communities that, as was mentioned, don't have a good economic base to begin with, and it was just devastating. So, you know, it's a community that needs our help, and I'm going to ask for an aye vote.
You bet.
Thanks for the question.
So moved.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just very quickly, Mr. Chair, do appreciate Mr. Berryhill bringing this forward. Do believe this is an important bill. Same issue that we saw with Lake, and think this could potentially be a bipartisan bill where everyone goes up. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, please forgive my tardiness. Christy Bauma on behalf of the California Professional Firefighters. Our letter was late. I'm late, but we urge your support.
Thank you. Tell the firefighters we appreciate their support. Unprecedented. All right, the bill has been properly moved. And Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is do pass as amended and re-refer to appropriations. Hall?
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill?
Aye.
Berryhill, aye. Block? Gaines?
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Galgiani? Galgiani, aye. Glazer? Hernandez? Aye. Hernandez, aye. Hill? Hill, aye. Waso?
Aye.
Waso, aye. Lara? McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Renner? Vidak?
Aye.
Vidak, aye. Currently.
Okay, that bill has 9. We'll keep the roll open for absent members.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Senator Waso.